one of the big reasons why we started what we're doing. It's I had too many sessions in my career where it was fake. Top goalie coaches at really good clubs, and it was volley, half volley, things that just don't happen in a game. I probably had 10,000 volleys to my hands in training, and in a game I never had one. I had loads of half volleys, thousands. I had one in a game, and because I thought it was like training, I just dropped it because it took my eye off the ball. So it's everything we do is just game related, moving balls, everything. It's goals, it's parries, you've got decisions to make. Whereas you watch top goalies training now with the national teams or clubs, and all you see is volley, balls off cones. The key thing is that goalkeeper training in general is about putting the ball exactly where the goalkeeper wants it, rather than what a striker does. He puts it exactly where the goalie doesn't want it. So that's what we try to incorporate out in training. So here's a little example of a session with that I would do when I was a professional. Volley, in there. Yes. Volley. For us, it's a waste of time, isn't it? It doesn't happen in a game. You're getting a false sense of security. You hear goalkeeper coaches saying on a Friday that they like to give them easy training, so it gets them confident. Whereas I still believe the day before a game, you should be getting your mistakes out of the way. The biggest session of the week for us is the warm-up for the game. I think that's when you should be dropping balls and making your mistakes and getting really prepared for the game. But it worries you really because it's everything should be game related. Right and left foot, moving balls, every type of service, and not just volley. It just doesn't happen in a game, and I really don't think it's a part. I think it's for kids technique, isn't it? For getting kids shape, technique. I think it's worrying, but no, this is one of the big reasons why we started what we're doing, is to change the way people train.
We get a lot of comments about whether it be Lee diving backwards, Lee landing on his front, facing his own goal. And the reason why it happens is our training is not like what you see on, say, England training videos and club training videos. Everything there's a bit premeditated and rehearsed. Well, they sort of know what they're getting, more information basically. What we try to do is, whether it's adding in a distraction in front of Lee, mixing up the service with Mark taking a touch before, or striking from either foot, that really screws up Lee's sort of judgment. It makes it more match realistic. Means that he's got to have that extra reaction time, and he might dive backwards and land on his front. Whereas if you're doing a bit more rehearsed stuff, or you know where the ball's going to go, you can take that step forward and dive forward, and because you know where the ball's going to go. You've got more information before you start. Yeah. So you'll see here, when we get going, you might see Lee reaching backwards. But you'll see he reaches back to catch the ball. The idea is, people don't like you diving backwards, because say if you're on the if you're going backwards and you try to dive, you lose a lot of power and it can flail past your hand. But Lee uses that backwards reach to gather balls and tip them around the post, so it's totally fine. It's totally fine. So there, just because there's a distraction there, that's took a ball that Pat would normally gather up easy, took his eye off it. And again, he's conceding there because of the distraction. There, so he's dove backwards because he's held off his dive a little bit with Lee being in front of him. He's had to dive a little bit late, get a bit more reaction time, he's dove backwards. There he's watching it all the way, so he can go forwards to get it. So Mark's mixed up the service then. It's just a great example of switching it up, makes it less mundane. Gets the goalkeeper to get up and react to the rebounds as well, rather than thinking that's it, the drill's sort of over. That's just a fantastic save. Another argument you get is top hand versus bottom hand, and people think it's always top hand if it's you reach higher with your top hand, but a lot of goalkeepers, they just go with the strong hand. De Gea, for instance, he always chooses to go top hand when he's down to his left and bottom hand when he's down to his right. It's not a decision thing, it's to do with his strong hand. So normal strikes like that will be gathered up in latex gloves, so just wearing our zeros just makes everything a little more difficult. And that's why we're distracted in front of it.